All right, so thank you all for coming. It's beautiful weather outside. I hope you are enjoying that as well. I am Shweta Agrawal from BNT, Jason, and we have Steve as well, who couldn't come here today, but you'll see him in future events. Today's AI showcase and women in panel session, so super excited. Just to kickstart things here, this is a quick rundown of our agenda. So I hope you guys get to talk to each other, make some connections. Then we're gonna do some intros, some fabulous partners and sponsors. We have Women in AI panel. I love it. You'll learn so much from different backgrounds, different experience. I'm super pumped up. And we have AI Startup Showcase as well. We're gonna do a group photo as well, so stay tuned on that. Then we have 6 startups who are gonna present the ideas. 5 minutes pitching, 5 minutes Q&A, and we'll close out. There'll be, more networking, breakout sessions, so you can connect with each other. And then we can get started now. All right, so let's see. How many of you have been to BNT, any events before? All right, that's good. And many new faces then, that's great. So at BNT, the goal for today to focus on AI Startup Showcase and Startup Event is more for bringing all the groups together, whether you are an engineer, a founder, research scientist, we want to bring everyone together. At BNT, that's the goal. Last month, we did Robotics Startup Showcase. We had a panel from robotics panelists as well. So every month, we are trying to bring something that people are looking for. Today, as you network, you'll meet entrepreneurs and founders, make connections, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're trying to just build your company, you're looking for co-founder, or whether you're a tech professional and you're trying to get into tech, data engineer, AI prompt engineer, whatever it may be. And you might find some mentors, investors, and advisor as well if you're already a founder. So to move on with here, so what is BNT? Boston Technology. You can scan the QR code here, but it's been around for 15 plus years. And the goal is to build a community. We are focusing on founders, entrepreneurs, technologists, anyone who wants to be part of this ecosystem. In Boston, we are also spread out, but we also do many things, meaning every month we do some showcases, like we did on the health tech in Feb, robotics, there are more to come in every month. We do panels as well. So today we're gonna have Women in AI panel. Last time we did Women in Robotics panel. Other things that we did, and more things to come, we did host Techstars Startup Weekend, so you'll see there the poster. This is the 3rd year round. We are doing it again. I'm the lead organizer for Techstars Startup Weekend. It's a 3-day hackathon showcase. You come together, you'll work with mentors, you'll have workshops, we'll have judges, so check it out as well. And we did the Startup World Cup last year. So the one that got selected from Boston went to Silicon Valley. They competed with other 50 regional founders for $1 million. More to come on that side as well. But we try to provide what we can to the community and help them grow and move from A to B. And if you are interested, please use the hashtags BNT_AI25. And if you're posting, just include us so we can reshare and post. And moving on, this is our team. Many of you might know us, but Steve Wilkes is the CEO of the team. He couldn't come today, but he's the visionary. He is the one who makes things happen. So I know many of you have met him already, but he'll be here soon. And that's me. I'm Chief Product and Strategy Officer. I'll tell you more my background when I go on the panel, but I'm really passionate about women in tech, STEM, product. That's my background, and I want to bring that to the community as well. And Jason, who's here, is the finance guy, is the Chief Finance Officer at BNT. So moving on, so quick recap. We have Startup Weekend coming up on May 30 to June 1st. So if you have an idea, if you want to join the team, this is the place to be. We are trying to build this for folks. If you have an idea, just come, hey, I want to pitch my idea, join my team. You don't have to be a technical person. You don't have to have an idea. It's open for everyone, whether you're a product person, UI, UX, tech person, business, product, for everyone, whether you're early professional, student, there's no barrier. So the goal, the mantra for the 3-day hackathon is learn constantly, fail fearlessly, never ever be scared to fail, because fail forward, right? That's how you're gonna learn and pivot, and transform rapidly and radically. So that's the QR code. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer after our sessions. And I would love to call our partner, sponsor, Laura from GT Law. Oh, Sam, all right, sorry. Come on here. And if you can share some thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Stone. I'm a patent attorney at Greenberg Traurig. Just really briefly, we are a nationwide law firm. We've got an office in Boston, but about 60 offices nationwide. We do a lot of work with startups. We do a lot of work with startups in the AI space, which is why we're sponsoring and why we're here tonight. Just one thing for those of you who are starting companies, want to put it into your minds. IP for AI is important. It's important as you seek investment. It's important as you seek to grow your company, and ultimately, it's important as you're commercializing. And it's important to find a firm or an attorney who you trust and who has a background in IP for AI. There are a lot of attorneys out there who have been doing software patents for a long time. The fact that someone has experience doing software patents doesn't mean that they're going to do a good job protecting your AI. Find somebody who has some experience with AI patents. If you're doing AI in the life sciences for pharma research or anything else like that, find someone who has experience with that. Experience with what you're doing is really important. You need advice from someone you can trust. And on that note, just really excited to see what you guys have to tell us today.
Yeah, thank you. Give a big round of applause. All right, next we have Judah. All right, is coming here, and he's the OG. A couple of years ago, he pitched his idea at Boston Technology, I think 5-6 years ago. So yeah, so glad to have him back. Please give a big round of applause for Judah.
Hey everybody, I'm Judah Phillips, that's me. Before the startup journey, which ended successfully, we didn't sink the ship, right? We got to a port, friendly people there, a year ago. And so now I'm working at a mid-market company. Doing AI, I'm the chief AI and product officer at Market Holdings, which owns about 12 different brands. It's a private company, last 90 years has been raising money for nonprofits, very large enterprise nonprofits you've all heard of, from like UNICEF to the World Wildlife Federation to the VFW. So rights agency, all this stuff. So at the end of the day, it all worked out. So here I am, and I'm not going to show you my startup, but I am going to tell you about this thing called AI Week, and that's me. Right after the startup journey at Darren Herman's Silicon Alley Sports, which you should all go to. It's a nonprofit golf and networking thing in New York. Darren Herman from Bain. And so that guy, Paul Baier, do you know him?
Yeah.
Come on, show of hands. Paul is the OG. So we do these things as kind of as side projects to promote the Boston community. The goal being to grow the economy to be the largest AI economy in the world by 2035. And so that requires more than just entrepreneurs and VCs, requires academia and corporations of all size, governments. And so we've been doing these things. Paul is in the third year of GAI World, which brings together about 600 or so like senior executives, like technology executives with budgets that are looking to learn more about generative AI. And that's going to be at the Hines on the 29th through the 30th. I do a Gen AI meetup. Anybody been there? All right, then we got one. Well, it's been around for a couple of years, and it was started because I didn't find the meetups and the networking events that I went to appealing. And realizing that the Microsoft Nerd opened up, like you guys partnered to have a nice location to throw a little party with some great speakers and panels I moderate. And the next one actually is next Wednesday. And then there's this idea that, you know, we can have these indirect conversations about commerce and events like this, right? But let's do like a during the day direct commerce enabling thing. So did anybody go to the Heinz Convention Center last year to a job fair? All right, I apologize for the lines, but this year, the last year was interesting. So there were about 2,000 people that showed up, shut down Boylston Street in the Heinz Convention Center with the demand for AI jobs. And so doing it again in a much larger location in the Heinz with controlled entry and, you know, cohorts matching makes a lot of sense. So we're doing that, and then has anyone been to the recent AI Woodstock? And show of hands, this is over in the Fenway a couple weeks ago. I think Paul's doing another one. So Paul and I said, why don't we put all these together in the course of a week called Boston AI Week 2025. So if you go to AI Week, or that QR code, aiweek.boston, you can read all about it. And so instead of, you know, putting any control structure around it other than a website and some registration, there are approximately like 30 different groups meeting, paid, private, events, technology, business, you know, that week, including our friends at BNT, Microsoft, IBM, lots of other large companies that will be participating. So that's Boston AI Week, and you know, everyone says like, I never ask for anything. So my ask is this, right? That if you want to host an event, like the whole idea is like, you do it your way. You know, if you want to have it at a certain venue, you want to use your, you know, your ticketing system, your friend's event management system, you know, you want to promote it your way, use your lists. It's a way to do that and like bring everybody together for that week. And so I hope you all participate. It should be really cool. The AI Workforce Smart Career Fair is on the 1st. This is on the 30th. This is the final sort of party for the corporate Gen AI world. And then I believe this is going to be held on that Sunday night. There'll be opening, closing party, and then there's like a whole bunch of stuff already scheduled. Some really cool film production stuff at Emerson College. You know, all the way to like Microsoft and their like AI team talking about what's next in AI. So I hope you all join us. I want to thank BNT for letting me speak and giving us a shot to speak on the stage. Got some good feedback from Chuck Goldman. Is he here? No, the storyteller. So at the end of the day, I want to thank you guys for letting me talk, and hope to see y'all there. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's do a quick photo.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I don't know, like, it's the light.
Yeah, maybe come this way.
This one, all right.
Out of that purple.
Where should I look?
We'll go over here.
Here?
I'll
All
go
right.
right here.
All right. Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more without the screen.
Can we do the audience too?
Oh yeah, sure. Look at me, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do
All right,
one.
let's do the audience.
Perfect.
Come on in, Steve. Come on.
Jason.
Jason, I'm sorry.
Is it possible to turn that off for a second or no? It's
Not
You
easily.
don't-
Trust me,
No, it's
I
fine,
use
it's
this
fine.
room. You gotta
Okay,
shut
are we,
it
are
off.
we, yeah,
Ready?
ready?
1, 2.
There'll be a halo around us.
Okay, let's see how these are. Let me do one closer. 1, 2. Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
so
All right,
much.
thank you all.
All right, Paul couldn't be here because of family emergency, but thank you, Judah. Now we have Mark Zhang. Come on, Mark.
Oh, thank you. I didn't anticipate that. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, so first of all, thank you. I didn't anticipate you give me this opportunity to speak about some of the initiatives I'm working on. So hi everyone, my name is Mark Zheng, and through this past 1 year, I've been pretty active, learning a lot of, about AI-related project and building some initiative with the support BNT and a lot of other people get to learn, get to enjoy what I'm doing, and basically there are a couple different initiatives created throughout this year. One is called Boston AI Forum. And through that initiative, what we do is we start very small. And throughout the past 1 year, we built up like a community about 400 to 500 people. And we hold like a monthly event and invite people working in this space come to share their journey, their passion, and why they think their project is quite significant, and why they devote so much time working on it. Kind of help, allow the community to learn about what they're doing. So that's one initiative. We also create an initiative called Cross Campus Network, which basically bring people, students from different schools, come together and learn about like some startup project. The idea is different schools have different emphasis, so it's good to bring people with a different like skill set to form a team, and it will be more productive in that way. And also we have some other initiative like this year we create a brand called Top Contender, and Top Contender really is about like try to bring some very impactful project come to some of the event conference I hold. And there's 4 different criteria when we consider those projects. One is that the project itself should be commercial viable. Second is it should be able to scale into a large project. The third thing is should have some like society impact. So not just making money, it also need to be beneficial to society. And the last one is the team have the capability to bring it into the next milestone and things like that. And once we consider all these factors, we bring the project into our conference and let them do a pitch, do some competition, and we work with some kind of strategic partner, give them some service credit, particularly in the area of PR for the winner. And the hope is to try to make their story more visible, allow them to really get the resource they need. So pretty much that's a lot of different things I'm working on, and including just now talking about Boston AI, there are 2 things on that week I'm going to working on. One is a conference on like AI's application in healthcare, that's one. And the other is I working together with Suffolk University, working on bring that cross-campus event together again. So those are a number of initiatives I'm working. I welcome you connect with me via LinkedIn. So thank you so much to give me this opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome, and last we have not least, Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kevin Tai. I run 3 Circles Studio, and I'm a photography studio. And something that's really, really cool that I want you all to do right now is scan this QR code, because instead of waiting for 2 weeks to get your pictures, you get your pictures right now. Right now. And so my team right now is working, I'm training them on how to do event photography and take pictures, so thank you for playing along with us. But the main thing is, I want you to, as you're networking, to take pictures with the new people you network with. You'll have those pictures right away sent to your phone. Put them up on LinkedIn, tag the person, and now you get to extend your network out to their community as well. It's really, really, really awesome. Have you guys scanned it yet? I almost saw like 5 phones out. What you can also do is, after you scan it, there'll be an opportunity to earn is not the right word, but to be able to get a free headshot. I'm gonna choose one person from the group who have signed up, and headshots start at $700. So if you want a headshot, my students up in North Reading, and I photographed a whole lot of people within the entrepreneurial space. It's my niche and my specialty. So if you want to be able to do that, that'd be great. And also, if you have a team, I'll be able to photograph up to 6 people on your team as well. So there's opportunity to do that if you have people that you like, that you want to get pictures with. If you don't like them, that's fine. You can get 6 of your own. So scan the code, get your pictures, and I'm looking forward to seeing you around here more and other events that are hosted by the team at BNT. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so we have, I have a quick question, Kevin. Should we take the group photo here right now so that we have everyone in the room? Should we just do, before we kick off the panel, should we
Let's
just?
do it right now.
Yeah, so folks, let's do a group photo. If you all come here, just stretch yourselves a little bit and then we'll get started with the panel. So come on in.
Put your shoes back on, please. Y'all are too comfortable. Sorry. 40 next week. Oh, my hips.
Oh, I thought it was just the handle screw. I know, yeah. I'm short enough to not get hit by it.
I'm here to serve. Choreograph.
Come on. Chuck, come for the group photo.
All right, there's a couple of things. I need everybody inside the pillars, so get inside. We can do 6 rows if you want to. In the front, I want you to do sorority style. It's really like. All right, get in closer, get in closer, get in closer. All right, a couple other things. Don't put your hands here because we don't want to. You look at what your hands are, right? Public speaking, when we put your hands here, we look at the.
Should we move the chairs?
I make the jokes. Okay.
Whoa.
It's okay. It's okay. I have insurance.
Wait for her. She's the star of the show.
Oh, nice. Every one of us. Thank you.
All right, getting closer. It's all right. I think we all showered today. Most of us did. All right, let's just do this real quick. Real quick. Getting even closer. I have a big gap right there.
Come on in.
Good-looking people in the front, please.
Come on. Why don't you come as
That's why I'm
well?
behind the camera. Get in there.
Yeah, come
Now,
on.
I command you.
Kima, you need to be here.
Where are you hiding?
Wait, we
Alright,
have
we
an
need-
important person.
No, come, Hema.
All right, so everybody on this side of the podium, I can't see you. Awesome. And if you're behind that pole-ish thing over there, I can't see you. All right.
Might work out.
All right, now do a couple of shots. These don't count. Big gap right there still.
Come on, man, ladies. Come on, squeeze in. Come. Come on, Hema.
Just ladies.
Of course, this is.
No boys allowed.
Yes.
My son's 4.5. He's already like, girl, ugh. Just you wait. All right. 1, 2, 3. Y'all are boring. All right, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Come on. 1, 2, 3. Hey. Come on. I could be here all night. All right, we're gonna get closer together. We're gonna get a little more energy. All right, I want you to look. Like, give that look. All right, make me feel uncomfortable. All right, 1, 2, 3. Bro. Now you do it. Thank you.
That was a good exercise. Thank you, folks.
Yeah, I was on it for 5 minutes. Genuinely.
It helps with the.
I know.
Right here. It's good stuff. The buttocks.
This is the finest group shot I ever did.
1, 2, 3.
Anyway, just checking if the lights are like on my face.
Grab a seat, please.
So, the secret to doing this, right? Here's some tips. Edge of the butt on the edge of the seat. Because if you sit very far back, you look like you're in the chair. Right? So we're trying to come forward a little bit more. Yeah, now, no, just your body. Yep, just your body. Right? Okay, there. So now we have more weight on the knees. We don't look like we're in a chair. I want to push your seat back just a little bit. Perfect. Very good. If you have the microphone, don't put it here. You'll never unsee it. I can't do panel shot because there's. Anyways, thank you very much.
Awesome. So, Jason, is it on?
Yeah.
The camera? Okay. Taking a breather.
for silence. Want to try out?
So we can move the mic around and we have one more. So this is on. And we can also move this. So when you speak, this is the one. Oh, they have two.
So what should I
Okay. So whenever you speak, like just turn it on. Yeah?
Would you turn this on? Sorry. So it's on right now.
Yeah? All right. So, let me just pull it up. All right. So now, as you see, we have amazing panelists with us. I'm gonna give a quick introduction. First of all, thank you for joining. I'm super pumped up to know about their background and how and what work they have done in AI. So let's start. Anita Thomas, she is a popular for robotics and research focused on advancing intelligent systems for real-world autonomy. She is PhD candidate at MIT, where her work focuses on how robots perceive and navigate complex environment on Earth and beyond. Anika has developed award-winning architectures for lunar robotics, led the design satellites currently in orbit, and holds a patent for autonomous robotics assembly on the moon. Wow, this is amazing. Her research spans spatial AI, 3D sense understanding, and collaborative anatomy with emphasis on photorealistic map, representation, and semantic awareness. Beyond her technical work, she is very passionate about helping underrepresented founders and minorities in STEM. She has presented her research at different places like NASA Kennedy to TEDx Boston, and recently delivered the keynote at the Women Innovators She-Tech Conference. She has also published educational research, mentored dozens of students, and actively supports outreach initiatives to empower the next gen of women in AI. So please give a big round of applause for Nika. All right. So now moving on to Roya. Roya Kandalan, she is a research scientist working on advancing artificial intelligence technologies. She has a PhD in electrical engineering and US patent holder, and she is a US patent holder and has multiple publications in primary journals on electrical engineering, maths, and AI. Her primary research interests are Gen AI, computer vision, and patent recognition. She is enthusiastic about advancing science and passionate about women's rights. She is a Google developer expert and cloud champion in AI and ML. She is also Google Women's Tech Maker Ambassador, a Google Developer Group co-organizer called Cloud Boston, and she uses this platform to enhance women's confidence in the workplace and advocate for women's and non-binary individual rights. Please give a big round of applause for Roya. And her mom is here too, so welcome, Mom. Awesome. And we have Heather Ma. She is a seasoned AI product leader with over a decade of experience spanning in healthcare, sales technology, and conversational AI. She has built and scaled AI products at companies like Drift, Nuance, and Apollo.io, driving innovation in applied AI from clinical decisions to support revenue intelligence. At Zoom Info, she leads initiatives that integrate AI in core workflows to enhance lead generation and sales efficiency. She is passionate about democratizing AI and mentoring the next gen of women builders in tech. So please give a big round of applause for Heather. Last but not least, Dr. Shashadri. Where do I even start? So she is passionate about using software engineering to tap the power of advanced analytics and AI for business. She has also worked in leading cloud computing and data analytics in different companies in Boston. She has also worked at EMC and designed analytics feature in Cloud IQ. And she is currently a principal consulting AI and data engineer at Technologists, where she is developing predictive and prescriptive analytical solutions. She teaches graduate students at Northeastern, and she focuses on AI, big data, architecture, databases, you name it. She is also, her latest accomplishments is she wrote a book on data and analytics. It's called Analytics for Business Success. So feel free to talk to her and learn more about her book. And she is committed to developing and mentoring next generation in STEM and volunteers in programs such as the ECMI Foundation, STEM Foundation, Girls Who Code, and MIT Innovation Challenge. Please give a big round of applause for Hema Tushata. Wow, see, I'm so, it's like so hot for me. Let's start. Heather, if you can tell, you have built AI products across healthcare and sales tech. What lessons have carried over and what has surprised you since you have worked on different industries and different products?
Thanks for having me here. First of all, super excited. So yeah, I've been working in multiple industries. I think we have a good audience here across industries that can summarize what I've learned. For example, in I think both healthcare and sales tech, we would need to focus on like the user experiences. So on top of AI technology and capability, what I learned would be, well, my target persona, sales rep or physicians, they are all very, very busy. So whatever you deliver, integrate into their workflow. I think what this would apply to all the industries, all the businesses. You want to improve the efficiency. You want to remove all the frictions, not just one AI feature, but understand their whole workflow. So that's the first thing that's basically applied to any company, any AI use cases. The second one would be both these industries still need a human in the middle, human to make the final decision. It's more like augmentation instead of fully automation. Physician workflow, you can imagine like, you can recommend this is the right diagnosis code, or this is how you should document this, optimize this documentation. But the final click through and accept all that, that's physician. Similar to sales rep. Yes, we can recommend different contacts, we can summarize this meeting for them, we can recommend next step, this is email, but it is the user eventually to review and accept. So it's still have a human in the middle, we don't see like fully automated here. I guess third one, all of this still need feedback loop in different ways. Like for physicians, we talk with, for workflow, we recommend the diagnose code and we would check the final code and learn from that loop. For sales rep, we'll check, eventually this deal got closed because of this recommendation or not. That's like the whole feedback loop. This is just carried over across industry and business use cases and features. Well, the difference, I guess for healthcare, if you look at the spectrum of data security and regulatory, healthcare data is on the extreme, very, very sensitive. So when we talk to customers in hospitals, you need to keep their data, remove all the PII, the personal information, you keep them in a very secure, private cloud even, but maybe other industry like sales, it's okay, the Salesforce is on cloud. Everyone, you can just make anonymous process to the data, but still it's okay to combine different sources together, provide recommendation, train models back. That's like just from the data regulatory perspective, that's different. Yeah, that's one major difference. I guess the other one is the explanatory, because for a while AI can be just like a black box, but for physicians, when you recommend something, physicians need to know the reason. That's kind of different persona. For sales, eventually, if, okay, this deal got closed because of the recommendation, that's good enough. They don't need to understand all the statement, that's just too much. So you just need to understand the user's journey and their workflow and their needs. Depends on the persona, it can provide different level of explanatory and the reason how you drive that recommendation system.
That's great because like different industry like healthcare and sales, so the adoption will have a different timeline. And for example, in healthcare, as you mentioned, it's more of like PHI and HIPAA and making sure how, even if you're using AI, where does it even fit, right? And how do you even use it, like ethical issues and all those things, that making sure it's safe and secure. Whereas in sales, it's like just plug in somewhere in and making it all like, you can use it somewhere and have like all efficient and productive in like a couple of times.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good point. Like for healthcare related use case, it take longer to validate. For others, less sensitive, maybe A/B testing quickly, ABC testing quickly. Yeah, that's a different.
That's amazing. Do you guys want to add, and like working, how have you seen as well like in other industries the AI adoption, if it's in robotics, Anika, or like different places? I mean, you're right, like Heather, as you mentioned, 7-8 years ago, I think it was just like a black box. Like no one knew. There was like AI ML engineers, and but no one really knew what they do. And it all came like a year and a half, right? Okay, people are now getting to know what is AI and how to use it. So I'll be curious to know as well, like, and we can cover like in the next question as well. But it's very interesting, like how different industries are adopting AI. So with that being said, Anika, I would love to pick your brain on. So you work on robots that operate in challenging, unstructured environment like the moon. What are the biggest technical or conceptual challenges in making AI system work in those kinds of like real world conditions?
Yeah, thanks, Shweta. Super happy to be here too. I think a lot of us think about AI in terms of these big models, something tapped into the internet or a data center where we can build these big foundational models and then use them for whatever use cases. But when we're looking at embodied AI on actual robotic systems, we have to think more about things that can operate within those resource constraints of our robots. I think a lot of people are really excited in AI, especially in the research space, about scaling. We hear a lot about scaling laws, how much data we use, how much compute or parameters we use. But when it comes to actually putting these things on real robots, I think that we need to think a bit more about structuring that information as opposed to just scaling it. Specifically in the research that I'm doing, I'm teaching robots how to basically attend to different parts of the environment that are reflective of a task that they have at hand, rather than having to use all of the information in these big foundational models. We want to distill that information so that we can make it compact enough to run on board. Especially when we're working with lunar rovers and Martian rovers, we have especially more resource constraints. So we want to build out these systems that can intelligently understand the world, but in order to kind of complete whatever task they have at hand, not necessarily understand absolutely everything.
That's great. And how long do you think like the adoption in robots, right? Like now you have to train and use all those things, and guessing like there are so many robots, like with Tesla's coming in, Boston Dynamics, like there are different kinds of robots, but like for example for usage in daily lives or even like in the industries, what trends have you seen so far where you can use or train robots to be used by in the day-to-day activities?
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest limitations, again, is that computational budget. A lot of people are starting to rely more on training really big models in order to perform tasks, but in order to actually see these at scale, working in real time on robots, we need to make sure that they're much smaller. So we want to structure our problem as a specific task case so that we can complete that. I think another piece of the puzzle in actually seeing these systems deployed in the real world is the safety component. Mm-hmm. And if we rely too much on AI systems as kind of a black box, just trusting what comes out of them, what happens when it fails? If I have a robot that's maybe folding my laundry, what does a failure case look like? Does it fail to fold the shirt, or does it tear my shirt in half? Mm-hmm. These are things that we want to be able to understand in the system before we're really going to see that wide scale adoption.
That's great, yeah, that's a good point. And this reminds me of like, Roya, can you talk about more like the bias and the ethical practices? So for example, what steps can organizations can take to identify and mitigate bias in AI systems? And what does responsible AI look like in practice?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for sharing your evening with us. Regarding the bias in AI, I have worked firsthand on facial recognition for biometric companies in my previous works, and it's a real problem. I think you have all seen people with darker complexion would have essentially AI would react to them adversely in the low illumination, or people with more makeup, or people who are wearing hijab. And a lot of it is simply because a lot of people who are building these models, these are edge cases that are hard to identify. A very interesting use case that I heard about is working with the touch screen, and everybody who worked on the case were male, so nobody thought about people having long nails. They wouldn't be able to unlock their phone, and that's a real problem, so they had to wait for the user to identify the problem. Right now, especially in the case of predictive models, we are in a better place because there are built on essentially systems that we can easily go ahead and identify where are these missing pieces of data and retrain this model because we see them as essentially a cycle. But when we are dealing with large language model or any of these models that require significant amount of data, I think they are a mirror for us to look into this mirror and see what we have built in the history and what we are afraid of. If all of our literature has built upon a lot of misogynistic or racist type of literature, and we leave them to be up there on the internet, and then we train GPT or Gemini or any of these other large language models, we can sit out and say, okay, I can build some guardrail and make sure that these models are not essentially biased because they learned from us. And some of the people who, in my opinion, are afraid of AI taking over, in air quotation, but in my mind, for AI being more used than what we are comfortable with, I think we are fearing what we have essentially built ourselves, and now we are not ready to harvest that. Aside from the reaction of these models to our day-to-day and how much we are utilizing them, there is this other aspect that Nika mentioned about large language model and how much energy they are utilizing. I know in the case of the space station, we are limited and constrained from energy perspective for the situation. But when we are living on a planet Earth, we still need to be wary of how much energy we are utilizing for the time of training and also for the time of inference. Some of the major players right now, they are building power plants to be able to essentially feed their training system. We have companies building nuclear system to be able to train, like essentially have the power for these GPUs. And these are just what is happening within the United States. I'm a believer in climate change. I don't know, I hope everybody else in the room also believe in that. Scientifically, it's been proven. The amount of energy we put in these machines, these are databases and computes that take so much energy, and their impact is not just within the US or the Western community. We have people in other less developed parts of the world who are paying the price for us wanting to use the bigger GPT or the larger model simply because they can solve a lot of the solutions, some of the problems we have. I think to the point that you made earlier, for a lot of these use cases, we need to look into distilling this model because all these large language models and larger and bigger and more parameter is not the answer. Sometimes we need to go smaller because we don't want to just torch this planet and go to Mars and start a new colony. So,
yeah, thank you. And moving on to, like, as I mentioned, ChatGPT, and there are so many things. So, hey, Dr. Sheshadri, would love to know, with the launch of ChatGPT AI hype, when did you overdrive? Is AI more than a commodity? And what do non-experts need to know about the hype, distortion, misunderstanding, and separating speed from the reality?
Before you answer that question, can I hop
of
some
course,
of the
go ahead.
things they mentioned, Anika and Roya mentioned. So what I'm understanding is if you need a linear regression, we shouldn't be using a model with billions of parameters. Is that the take-home message? Just a simple matrix multiplication should be done. Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you are like way more experienced, so I wouldn't say anything in front of you.
No. No, but I totally agree with some of the concepts you brought from a robotic standpoint, as well as kind of pick the right model right, for doing the job. So, somewhat like George Box said, some models are right, but not all models are going to do what you need them to do, right? So just gives you that some sort of directionality we need. So I'm sorry.
No. And a quick question, like how do you even, that's a great point, like how do you even, as you're choosing the models, and maybe for anyone like Roya and Anika and like, Dr. Shashadri, like how do you even like pick the model and make sure like how much time it's consuming, computational, like what is like those couple of parameters or metrics that you should look when you're choosing the models?
So in my book, I talk about this concept called the analytics product lifecycle. So since there's an AI hype, I'm going to call it an AI product lifecycle, right? So you have to add AI whitewash everything that's been happening. Even it's in Excel, it should be an Excel AI. But all jokes aside, if you're thinking about an analytics product lifecycle, there are a couple of quadrants you should think about. One is a business quadrant, then comes the data quadrant, then the modeling quadrant, and then there's the software engineering quadrant. Like so 4 principal constructs are required. So even before you go and jump in to build a model, you've got to kind of, from a business standpoint, right? This is the way to kind of think about how when you're building a business or kind of an established business, working with an established business, you're beyond the proof of concept stage. Your CEO is going to ask you what are the business outcomes, what are your MCGs, right? So it's cool as when you're doing a PhD, and I've been there before. You're kind of doing the latest and the greatest research, but at the end of the day, if you're not, if you have some deliverables. So what you're delivering, how is that aligned to the business outcome? And so those are the things. And what is the organization strategy for data? What's the organization strategy for AI? And then do you have a business sponsor? Do you have an executive sponsor? So those are the things to think about, and that has to be done in the business quadrant. So before so if the problem you're trying to solve is, I'm going to optimize the limited resources available for a robotic system. So that's your problem statement, right? So identifying the problem statements, working with whether it's the NI, whether it's the government, the DoD budget, or if it's an organization providing you the services, then how do you kind of tie that into the existing infrastructure? So then you go into once you have the business quadrant figured out, then you kind of figure out, okay, what is the data? Then you go into the data quadrant, where you find out, what are the data you need, what kind of architecture do you need? Is it batch data, batch or streaming and whatnot, right? So in your case, is it going to be log analysis or one or the other? So think about all the consideration. This is where organizations, if they have their data architect and engineers, can help you, and that's where the collaboration happens between the business and the engineer, right? I talk about building bridges between the two. So it's kind of normally the engineers and the architects are doing the work, and the organization head could be very well talking in different languages, because and this is where the technology has to evolve, where both of them are talking the same language. And if it wasn't possible before, now that the AI hype is kind of forcing people to kind of make that move, right?
That's a really good point, because I think implementing anything, right, like in the companies, and we might have like heard around like in the industries, corporate or like startup companies, people are thinking like where exactly I should use AI. And even if they want to use AI, they need to get the buy-in from the leaders, as you were saying, like top down, like business, and also with the engineers, right? Some of the times, I think there was surveys done, and to say like how many engineers or tech department are using AI, and the numbers were very interesting, like around 40 to 50%, given like how they use it in day-to-day lives. But you brought a good point, like even to use AI or anywhere in the workflow, the connection between data, business, engineers have to happen, right? That's where something can scale, and not even like scale, but like start with the smaller chunks, as Roya and Anika, you mentioned, like how they can even get started, right? So that's thank you, Hema, for sharing that. And given with that, I would love to pick Heather your brain on, as AI tools are becoming more powerful. how do you see the role of future AI product managers evolving? And I'm really curious to know, because it's every departments are getting impacted, but like for product managers, because they work with business, with customers, like how do you see the impact of AI?
Before answering that question, just
Yeah,
wanted to
go ahead.
say that the reality check, actually, last year, not sure if everyone follow like sales tech, or if you have a business unit in sales, there is a big, like huge hype on AI SDR, the AI sales development representative. Many startups raised millions of dollars on that. And what we observe is its adoption rate is quite high, but the retention is low. Meaning the happy path, the prototype, someone can just send email, can take a call, and to summarize, do research. It sounds very good, but in reality, all the nuances, different industries, all the environment with loud voices, multiple people talking, it's very hard for the AI bot to really understand all that and do a good job. The conversion rate compared to human beings is very low. Just want to echo that, the hype versus reality. That's a reality check as a product manager. So back to the question, continue the story, and I don't know how many people here are like product manager. Okay, great. I think for product manager is like mini CEO for your own product, and every CEO eventually is a product manager because you manage resources. And also, I hope the answer I have could be resonated with many folks here in the startup community. Honestly, I do see product manager, designer, front-end engineer, researcher, customer analyst, all these roles could be just blurred together in a year or a few quarters as all the AI tools we're having. As you mentioned, how many professionals nowadays using AI tools? Like, yes, I use AI tools. And I see my colleague as product managers who can just good at prompt engineering. You can tell AI tool this is my idea, help me draft the requirements. This is all the customer calls I have and emails I had and the research I did, summarize the top 5 pain points. This is the pain points, this is the workflow, draft me the design. That can happen just like today, V0 versus all that tools. And surprisingly, I think front-end code can also be drafted automatically as well. I think in the near future, the backend, the database, all can be just done automatically. So I guess my point is just you have to embrace and learn all these AI tools to be like one-person shop and do this all by one person. So that definitely not a good news for like headcounts on that, because we do see this world evolving into a more efficient. Without all these AI skills, I don't see how you can survive the business world today. So that's like number one. And also, surprisingly, like last week I was checking one AI tool and search YouTube. That video was like 3 months old. It's already outdated. It's like cannot really follow up. So I guess for Reddit and YouTube and all the learning platform, just make sure it's 1 month new. Otherwise, it's not even up to date. So that's number one. I guess number two, when we make the product design, always have this AI agents in mind. Previously, it's just one feature, one small thing we want to improve. Now it's a whole flow. Like take sales, for example. You have one agent to do the research, check LinkedIn. What I want to talk, you have one AI agent to draft the first email for me. Or you have one agent to schedule a demo for me. Like through the whole thing, it's just one person to manage multiple agents. I think that's the future. Many products would apply that. If I add one more, just like AI and human interactive design, that's also a key change. I think in the old days, we just design applications, solve this problem, but people are getting more used to have a co-pilot by side. Every software, every application, I just don't want to learn to use this anymore. I just want to talk to someone, talk to a chatbot. So that's the new norm. Yeah. So when you do the new design, you have to keep this in mind. Yeah, that'll be the 3 things I have to think.
Yeah. Okay.
If I may to add a few points to the thorough list that you generated, simply because in my day-to-day I get to the same type of problem. So a part of that is the AI hype that was mentioned, and a lot of it is because going from the POC to production is quite significant and requires essentially the whole pipeline to be able to scale so quickly. So having this information in mind and using the protocols that are coming to the industry right now, both from Anthropic and Google, can be significantly useful. Something else that was mentioned about essentially the type of use cases that we are looking for in terms of AI are changing, and we are looking into more agency. But the part that really worries me is the notion that we are looking into less headcount. My personal experience has been that when you are looking into an AI product that's going to reduce the headcount in a short term, you are getting a pushback from the community who are working on that system, and your AI is not good enough to quickly be able to essentially take over all of the tasks. So even for simple tasks of like scheduling a calendar or going through emails, you still need that human in the loop to make sure that this decision that AI makes is up to the standard. So the way that in my team I look into how to essentially make sure AI automizes is how to make sure that I can take away the parts that my team doesn't want to do and make those essentially automated and leave everything else to the human, because we need those human interaction, and we are not technologically in a place to be able to replace the human. One, and the society is not ready to handle the unemployment caused by AI. I don't want to cause a panic in the audience, but this is gonna be real and there will be changes, and I encourage people to start learning about this. But at the same time, I don't like the idea from C-suite that it's gonna be a quick fix to the budget, because we can quickly turn so much of the work to the AI and let those people go.
Absolutely. We've got this train going on, right? Everybody is there, their wheels are turning rapidly. Yeah. I want to kind of anchor to some of the points you made, right? So one of the things to think about is AI. The AI hype is real, right? It's not going to go away. But then organizations should realize that, or the organizational heads should realize that it's not a turnkey solution, right? So, the Chat GPT, I think Netflix, it took what, eight years to reach 1 million users, and Chat GPT reached it in like 2 months, right? So that's the kind of impact that organizational heads want to happen, right? But then again, it's easy to do a POC. It's you have so many shake and bake technologies out there, low code, no code, and you snake oil salesmen, the ones who have the AI whitewashing. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and claiming that they have AI even if they don't have anything behind the scenes, right? Like the paper cop or whatnot. But then at the end of the day, what organization heads need to think about is, yes, okay, we have built tons of agents, tons of chatbot. How will that kind of help the bottom line? How is that going to improve the revenue? How can it improve the product adoption and more customer engagement and customer satisfaction? And the other piece to think about is, at the end of the day, what about change management, right? People don't talk about change management. Is your user community just within the organization itself? Is your employee population AI ready? Have you trained them, right? So there's a study which says that in countries around the world, there's a lot of countries which spend a lot of effort in training, training their workforce to understand AI and prepare them for the future, like so employer-sponsored AI programs. But US is somewhat behind. They want the employees to take initiative on their own to learn AI. So there's going to be an AI skill gap to think about, which is what you're bringing about. So, and then how do people work together? So you have the product manager, you have the engineer, you have the robotics expert, then the program manager. So are these skills going to be required in the future? And so when we focused on, when we are hyper focused on technology and the human component, do people really know how to collaborate and work together, right? So that's the blue sky thinking is important, coming up with the next Claude and the next llama model, or sending our robots to Mars, right? As we think about this, but can we? How do we implement these systems, disparate tools and technology in an organization? That's I mean, even for a simple products, change management and adoption has been challenging, but for something so complex as AI, which not a lot of people actually understand what's going on, how do we think about that? So that's something, it's head scratching.
Anika, do you want to add any inputs now? So what I've seen, you wanted to add, Anika?
I think it's interesting bringing up the collaborative aspect, because actually what I'm doing my thesis work on is collaborative robotics. But part of that is, we want our robots to be able to understand what they see, but a piece of it is taking that information and then distributing that into actual tasks that the robots can use. It's definitely infinitely more difficult if you replace one of those robots with a person, right? So not as much like a team of people working together, but I think of it as kind of a human and robot collaborative setting. How do we distribute those tasks in an efficient way?
Yeah, no, that's great. Just add quick thing, like, so I was hearing very great points, like as a PM, as a product manager, and using AI, yeah, there are a couple of like companies just using the word AI, they feel like, oh, it's a buzzword, I just want to use it, even though you're not using or implementing or, actually using it. And then the change management, so there is like, as you were saying, like not the fear, but like how quickly the AI is changing, what should I know in order to stay relevant? Because as product manager or UI UX person, or even as an engineer, like you need to know the technology to be able to do it, right? There was no role, I think there was, in this new role, maybe it's only me, but I saw there is like Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. There was no role before, AI prompt engineer, so all these new roles are popping up. And how do you even make sure you have those skill sets to find a job, or if you're working on your company, you're using those to even like have those customer acquisition, right? Like quick thought, quick question, like how people can not get scared, but like think of like AI down the line will help them, because now there is like a lot of like, oh, my job is gonna go away, or what should I be doing? And the companies are, yes, if there are 50 people, like how they can use it and have more productivity and revenue and everything. So have you seen, like, what would you suggest in order for someone to stay updated and not think AI is like gonna replace? I know it's like, but it's gonna help them, and what should they be learning or looking for as the trends are changing so fast?
Just to add a bit, maybe from an engineering perspective, we're definitely seeing something in junior versus senior engineers. This is kind of driving a skill gap between people. You have more senior people who are using AI systems in order to kind of 10x their work. I use it in coding. I spend a lot more time thinking about how I want my code to work than actually sitting there doing the debugging and the coding, which is fantastic. But I think a lot of the more junior people, I do a lot of education, I see students that will ask ChatGPT to write code for them, copy and paste it, and just not quite understand how it works. And especially when we get into these more complex systems, not understand why it's not working and how to fix it. So I think from an engineering perspective, really having those fundamentals is incredibly important. A lot of the research that we're seeing nowadays is people just patching together like 4 or 5 different models that do different things, because it's the first time that those 4 or 5 models have been patched together in that way. And I don't think it's the most interesting avenue of research, but I do think that it's a very interesting way to commercialize these things, to kind of bring those pieces together. I think that we have this giant toolkit of a lot of different foundation models, and from an engineering perspective, I think it's really important to understand the limitations and use cases that work for each of those things.
Yes, someone wants to.
You go first.
So the question was, should we be fearful of losing our job? Is that kind of to paraphrase? So I read this quote that AI will not replace humans, but AI will replace humans who don't know about AI. So I think we're all safe here, at least in this room. Kind of we touch upon multiple things, right? The skills gap and where to start and whatnot. So I'm going to use this. I don't know if people here read the HBR, what is it, Harvard Business Review. Professor Tom Davenport is a good friend of mine. He teaches at Babson University. He published with the first White House data scientist, chief data scientist, DJ Patil. They used the term, I think 20 years ago, data science is the sexiest job of the 21st century, right? As soon as people saw that, there was like a mad rush to get into data science and for example, I'm kind of reaping the benefits because I'm teaching at Northeastern, I'm teaching data science, which is called AI now, but yes, but that's how that works, right? So you kind of, some of these kind of catchy terms encourage people to do data science, right? But then at the end of the day, there's a bunch of, what does data science actually mean? Data science means that majority of the time, actually just as the word represents is data and science, you're spending 95% of your time cleaning the data. So I used to call myself a plumber or a janitor, is spending most of the time cleaning your data, when the modeling or the AI, the fancy LLMs and whatnot we're talking about, that's easy to do, right? Unless you are like a Google engineer or a Meta engineer, actually going and building those algorithms. So the folks who are using the kind of built models, that's not the majority of the work that needs to be run, right? So how does someone, how can we be the AI users of the future, but also understand how to use it and then kind of be the early adopters in our organization? So some of the things to think about is kind of learn how there's some of these concepts I bring up in the book called analytics hierarchy, right? What's analytics hierarchy? That's understand descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is your Excel spreadsheet, your Grafana, your dashboards, right? Like, so even if you go to New York Times, I'm kind of maybe showing my liberal side of the house, but anyway, if you go to any kind of newspaper, they have a visualization now. So visualization is kind of, you learn, like 45% of the people are visual learners, so you have the descriptive analytics, and then the predictive and the prescriptive is the advanced analytics. So kind of starting with that, understanding how those things work, the classification, the image classification and all that. So start with the basics before you get into the Gen AI bandwagon. Yes, Gen AI is important. Knowing how to use ChatGPT is important because it kind of reduces the time, improves our productivity. But if you want to kind of understand, get into the depth of how things work, kind of start with the basics of what is analytics, what is advanced analytics, how does that improve our day-to-day work, and then kind of slowly upskill. It's not going to be, if you need to learn how to spell before you write like a Shakespeare, right?
Yeah, I do remember, and then I'll move on to Roya. I want to pick her brain. I do remember something you mentioned, Dr. Shashadri, a couple of years ago, data, was just people just knew data engineer, data scientist. Companies were hiring people like data engineers and data analysts. They did not know. I have a couple of friends, they were like, oh, we just got hired as a data analyst, but we are not doing anything because companies don't know how to use it and what to do with us. So it was very interesting, since a couple of years ago when it was just new terminology, companies didn't know how to use data, but now that is so core, that's the heart of using AI or any technology, is making decisions, right? You need to have data to be able to understanding the pattern look like. Roy, I would love to see, as we're talking about the skills and everything that someone has to keep updated with, for those looking to break into AI, what foundational knowledge or skills should they focus on first, and how they can stay current in such fast evolving environment?
Thank you so much. I think that's a very fun question because we see all of these use cases and all of these need for people who know AI, but I think a dark side of it is the point that we touched on before, that some of the people would be impacted in the near future and they need to be able to incorporate AI into their job and essentially be able to continue with the work that they are doing or in some other form. I always want to take people in the history lane and recommend them thinking about maybe, for example, phones. We had people who would use telegraph, and those jobs are not valid anymore. And then we have people to like essentially use the line to connect, and we don't have those. But those people, they stayed current and they used essentially they updated their knowledge. So it requires us also to be adaptive and flexible and keep learning. So some of us are not particularly technical, and the background never required us to know more of the math or the coding aspect of it. And I suggest you to start using generative AI in the form of how I can use it to remove the repetitive parts of my day-to-day and make sure that I can 10x myself, because you are competing with other people who can actually do that. So even if the job of somebody who wants to send the right emails, how I can use the AI to make sure that I write the perfect emails to the point that was made. For more technical people, I suggest you to start prototyping, because the line between those who were developing and those who would ideating is getting more and more blurry. So start building. I think you have heard of the one and only Andre Karpathy and vibe coding. So it's fun if you know what you are doing, but even if you do not know it, with some experience and just trial, you get to the answer. And always start with the biggest, largest model when you want to do prototype, because it exactly shows you where are the limits. But don't hesitate. Don't be like, okay, I don't know, because now this is the time for you to know. Anything that you can think about and you want to know is on your fingertip. You can just ask any of these models and they give you all of the answers that you want. Be critical of what they answer, but most of the time they are correct when you are asking about essentially general knowledge. And then I suggest you to stay up to date, following some of the people that you find that they are adapted to the AI world, but also you can relate to them. For me, some of the people that I follow is Andre Karpathy, Lawrence Mourani, Fei Lee, Jan LeCun. Some of these names might ring a bell, some might not, but there should be people who you admire in your field and they already started to adapting AI. Something else that I wanted to definitely point out is we need to recognize the fact that people who would be most impacted are those who have less access to the resources such as education. And it's going to be a harder time for them. So we need to be aware of the minorities and underrepresented group and make sure that when we are generating this type of community, we are holding each other's hand and making sure that we all rise together, because we are stronger when we stand by each other.
Thank you for sharing that. We'll take one more question from Anika and then we'll go around the room for a question. So, of course, sorry.
Totally just echo to what Roya and Dr. said here. Just one, because I'm a truly believer in learning by doing. I guess it's in your life, just pick a problem you want to solve. I can take two very simple examples. Like my son is super interested in Pokemon, so I encouraged him to just build a Q&A around Pokemon characters. So he downloaded all the characters, like materials in one PDF, train that into a rack, and then build a chatbot on top of that. Super simple, but through this practice, that's something very fun. He's an incentive to do that. And then you learn this very simple concept of how the agent talk to RAG and how they communicate. For me, I'm a busy mom. I think everyone can just have their own problem in life or in work. I always miss the homework piano teacher sent me. So I train an agent to just label the piano teacher's homework for me in my email every week, download that music sheet, and give me an alert. So just want to, very, very simple use case in your life you can think of, you can just test it out. That's a starting point. On top of, I guess if you're not good at reading papers like I do, you can just start something small.
That's pretty good. I hope some of you enjoy that, apply. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so echoing what Roya mentioned, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Girls Who Code program. That's a very specific program for girls in middle school to high school, so they can learn in their own setting, right, in their more comfortable setting. And Akamai we have an Akamai STEM Foundation, and we are we support a lot of these efforts, and we've had every summer. We haven't done that in the last couple of years, so we used to have cohorts every summer. Students come in and learn from the engineers at Akamai. And so one thing I learned from the program is the difference between how men, girls and boys, I mean, it starts very young, right? What they found is that when girls are writing programs, that they are not confident about what they're putting on the code. So they've noticed that repeatedly, that if you go in and check a girl's work and kind of encourage them to write the code, they'll say, oh, I got it all wrong, I don't know how to do it, I'm really bad at this, I'm gonna quit. But then all you needed to go is go hit the back arrow to see, okay, let me look at what you've written. And then if you just go the up arrow multiple times, you could see that it's all there. It's just that the building of the confidence and kind of, so putting people in the right environment and making them say that, hey, making them realize, and this is the same for any gender now, right? Everybody feels a little bit threatened, and same with me. I'm like, a new model is released, what's going to happen? Claude throws something in there, what am I going to do? I don't know that, right? So this is kind of having this sort of a community where you have people, you feel comfortable of doing what you're doing, and then encouraging people to speak up and say it's okay to say I don't know, because I don't know robotics, I don't know what Roya does, and product manager, I probably can't spell it, right? So it's okay to be afraid, and that's how I look at it, and it kind of build your first product and try it.
Always like have the learning mindset, right? It's like don't be scared of like not trying. And you brought a good point. Like I think sometimes as girls who code, you have seen like there's thing like, oh, I cannot do it, but unless you try and do it, you will not even know that. I did my undergrad in computer science, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I wanted to be a doctor, but I couldn't stand blood. And I'm like, okay, what should I be doing now? I was like, I was a kid and I wasn't sure, but then I started, I was like, programming is not for me, undergrad, computer science, I don't know. But when I started doing it, I was like, wow, I enjoyed and I learned it, and doing the management. So it's like, you have to take the first step and try it out.
Just to add on that, before I got into my PhD program that I'm in now, I was such a perfectionist. I was just like those girls, I was the same way when I took my introduction to coding classes, where I was just so afraid to fail. And now I've realized over the last few years of doing research is that, 90% of research and 90% of most things are failing. People that have successful startups, look at what they've done in the past. They probably have 2, 3, 4 failed startups before that. I think that teaching kind of this next generation that failure is part of the process. It's not a question of fail or success. It's how many times are you going to fail before you succeed? Probably more than one. I love doing outreach. I love doing talks, going to high schools to talk to girls about this stuff and helping build that kind of confidence in the next generation, because failure is part of the process. It's not one or the other. And I think that resilience is something that we really need to help build more of.
That's amazing. I love that, and definitely folks will be doing that. And maybe we can take, I know we have 10 minutes left, so maybe we can go around the room and take quick question, like just raise your hand. Yeah.
I got a question for Heather. I was trying to follow a lot of what you were saying, and I heard little bits and pieces of my world in it. And 2 months ago, I got my first AI sales call, and at first, it was very confident, so I listened, and I didn't realize it was an AI call until the back and forth, and it would pause and think, and I was like, oh, this is cool, But when you're talking about an automated touch to a busy person with an AI call, how does it get into the operational reality of that person, that busy physician, that plant manager, the engineer that's got, no time for anybody? All that noise. Is that where this is going? Where you can automate touches to these people for selling a product?
Did you filling a form and got a call. I just got a call out of nowhere because that's illegal.
No, it was a cold call. It was a cold call.
Just a
sales
cold call?
An AI.
Okay.
And when it got into specifics, it started to break down and then just quit and then went into its pitch.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was over at that point.
Yeah, so just based on, I'll just share some of my experiences just on the legal side, because when I was a normal product manager, not AI, I just like I have like meeting with legal maybe once a year to review a contract something, rename something. Now I'm meeting with legal every week. For example, for the AI voice call, I know 100% sure, unless the potential prospect submits and show you're interested, there's no way robots should call you. That's like, but many startups, they just don't care because they nothing to lose. So it's your question, like how come?
Is AI heading in the direction where it will automate calls if you have a product and you want to sell it?
Yeah, I think.
And how does it get into the operational reality of the person they're trying to reach instead of being like a robocall? Spilling its pitch and to like a shotgun blast. Maybe the 1 out of 100 of these calls will be something this person's interested in.
Yeah, I guess in the sales world, they collect all the signals. Like they may think you're interested in their product in the first place. Maybe this is like data privacy thing, but maybe you search some keyword on Google and somehow the cookie got collected and that data got sold to a third company and that got collected through 6 Sense or some other company just do this for a living. That's like number one. And then salespeople just know maybe this is my target. And then some companies, they are not responsible, they're not practicing responsible AI. They don't follow all the laws until someone sues them, which consumers don't really sue them, right? Why? It's just got a random call, they don't do that. But yeah, I don't know how today's administrator, like Elon Musk, all those people, maybe they would just like change all this overnight. But in general, I think it should be more about AI auto calls and all this and email spam, all that should definitely put more regulatory around it. And I think that's going in that direction with all the scholars here.
So AI isn't going to generate more noise, it's going to maybe
definitely business need to be responsible to that, especially like big companies. They have to be responsible and be the ones to follow all the regulatories. I do see in Europe that's definitely not legal. Even you raise up your hand, they cannot just call you. I think in California also, but rest of the US still like following up. Yeah.
I just have one quick question.
This is the business, by the way, it wasn't like a personal.
Yeah, and then we'll take another question. I just want to make sure like everyone is getting
Sure. I just love the way you said, I was a normal product manager, then I became an AI.
Yeah, that's true because like now, like I think I was in a conference and someone was like, I was a software product manager, SaaS product manager, and when she came back, her title changed to AI PM. She was like, I don't even know what it means, but it just changed, So, just wanted to Mark.
Yeah, so thank you. A lot of great sharing. Thank you. One of the things Shweta asked is that in terms of evaluate what kind of model that will be appropriate to use for the use case, that relate to the topic here, women in AI. They got me to think a lot of like a last model when they train using historical data. There are a lot of biases, particular. Like relate to woman, for example, there are probably more like information about like a man versus a woman. Now, as far as you know, right now in terms of what particular model manage that aspect well, in terms of this kind of biases, and in another thing is that if they're not managed well, how can you make sure when you use that kind of like language model that you anticipate that kind of biases and be able to kind of using some kind of way to help you input that kind of output?
I couldn't finish that question, but I'm glad you raised it. So how do AI models or how does advanced analytics models work, right? You have to train the data. So if you're training the data with a lot of kind of bias in them, then it's going to give you the same type of results. Like Sam Altman said, what is it recently? He said something about, oh, we have to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy saying please and thank you, right? So if you want your AI to, your response to be kind of a cordial, like in a friendly intercourse with you, the tone, you've got to teach it how to do it. So if you're gonna feel it with some sort of hateful rhetoric, it's gonna give you the same thing. So this is where I think the term human in the loop was not used, but that's kind of human in the, I don't know that, so the human in the loop is the most important thing, right? So, and then there's a term I use which says model building is loops, not lines, right? So it's kind of, you build a model, you check it, and then be responsible. So each organization should have some policies and check whether there's model drift happening, right? So so you can, in your initial training, you might be doing the right thing by kind of corralling and kind of training your model with the right type of information, but then you do some web scrolling, and then it starts pulling up a lot of hate rhetoric or bias or misogyny towards women, then your model is going to start drifting. So you've got to kind of, you can put some automated checks in there to make sure it's not doing that, right? Because of course, building AI ML models is expensive, but you still need to put those checks in there to kind of some thresholds in there to make sure it's not doing. But then having that other person who's going to check it periodically, but so some of the companies are not doing that, and they don't want to do that because it can be expensive too. So ultimately it comes to bottom line, and then Europe is sometimes much better than, the policies, regulatory policies are better in the US than in Europe than, so I mean there's a lot to, it's a wild west right now, so I don't know how we are gonna, it's worse than where the internet was, right, like 20 years ago. How are we gonna solve it? I'm not sure, but it should keep us up at night.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah, 5 minutes and then go ahead.
If I may just quickly add a few points. So we had this gentleman asking a question about how this AI would target me. Everything that you put on internet is easily traceable, and then you have your credit card information that is quickly connected to you. So not only what you are doing on internet is traceable back to you, but everything else that you are doing outside, just utilizing your credit card or your banking information, is also traceable to you. And the level of this sensor information is up to like how you are holding your phone in your hand, or what web pages you are using, or how fast you are able to type something on your keyboard. It's very easy to identify based on these essentially biometrics that you are providing, not only who you are and what are your what attracts you, but other people who have the same type of behavior might give away so much that makes you a target. So if you are leaving something on internet, I don't want to fear you, but be aware that everybody knows about this one. And if you have children, I strongly recommend not to put children's faces on internet, because that can be easily abused for many use cases. You can easily clone the information from the faces for videos, and you can with 15 seconds of voice clone somebody's voice right now. So especially if you have children, please be aware of that.
That's a good point, because like on Insta, like there are so many fake accounts that have been created, and also you mentioned like I was reading somewhere, so in India for example, if you get a photo and you click on it, it will grab, like it will gather all your, if you have your credit card details and everything, it will just grab everything. So without knowing, without downloading, just like not being able to access, you don't know what's in there, right, if you're getting something from unknown numbers.
So one quick thing I wanted to add is, I don't know if you all are familiar with the Target lawsuit 10 years ago. This is even before the world of AI hype and the amount of investments that's going in AI. So what Target did was it sent, I think it's like baby coupons, right? Like some pamper diapers or whatever to a family of, I think, which had I think the 15-year-old or 16-year-old daughter, so preteen mom. and the dad did not know that the daughter was pregnant, right? So how did Target, this is 10 years ago, how did Target know that the child was pregnant? And that's how they kind of, like, why are they targeting us? So, I mean, so that's how they're going to figure out, you know, but we have not done a lot of, you know, we have known this for a while, but we have not put the checks and balances still, so.
Do you want to add Anika or Heather before we wrap it up? No? Awesome.
This
So
took a very depressing turn.
it's same like Facebook, right? Like when I talk about pizza, I mean this is like very common. It starts showing up on Insta and Facebook, so it's similar. We have like our information on the internet, and it's like very easy nowadays to find it and contact people. So we're just making sure like how you have. There are certain tools where you can go and check online what is visible, like your date of birth, your address, and everything, and try to hide those information. I think that's one way. And also nowadays people ask you to fill in the forms. You have your phone numbers and emails and everything, so that can also be shared, right? We don't know that it can be shared with the third parties as well. So that can be one way. Yeah.
Maybe I'll shift tone just for the.
Yeah.
Okay, as somebody who works in spatial AI, a lot of it comes to what can we gather information-wise from video streams, from pictures, and we've seen a paradigm shift in the last couple of years. It's really, really incredible the amount of things that we are able to do now that we weren't even 5 years ago. Trying to teach a robot how to wash your dishes. Wouldn't that be great? That would be something really positive. What we can do in spatial AI now is take these video streams and actually extract information about what's happening. We can distill that into an array that basically we keep track of the different tasks in the scene, and then we can train models and physical systems to learn from actually understanding what's happening in the environment. There's some really cool labs that are working on things where they're actually teaching robots how to do things from human demonstrations. So not even using the same motors, the same actuators in order to kind of learn that information. So I think from a spatial perspective, we're gonna see a lot more on the robotic side of things. I really hope it's gonna make our lives easier, maybe make a lot of our workplace or factory settings safer. So I'm optimistic on that side of things.
Thank you.
I want to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
All right, so to leave you all on a very positive note, I know it just got a little bit depressing, right? So the great news about AI, right, so we've got to kind of spin it into a positive light, and we are all AI spin doctors here. From an organizational perspective, it's easy to get funding in any project. If you say you're doing AI, so when I used to be a data scientist, data architect, it was hard to get funding for projects. Now everybody wants to do AI, so I'm not saying it's very easy, but the barrier to entry to get funding is much easier. Same for startups as well, right? So there's so much funding being pumped into the AI market. So this is a good time to be an AI founder, because there's lots of folks interested in it. But I mean, the question is are they going to be successful or not? That's not what we want to solve, right? This is a good starting point. It's a great time to be excited about and doing AI, whether it's an organization or kind of cutting the shackles and starting something on your own. So yeah.
That's amazing. This is a good segment to get into our AI Startup Showcase. Thank you so much, all the panelists. We have Startup Showcase, so we have not wrapped up. We're gonna start with the founders. So in 2 minutes, we're just gonna take a quick photo of the panelists, and then.
Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Good chat.
Coming.
Okay, no worries, stay in line.
What up? I've done it before.
Okay.
All right.
All right, test shot. Hold on. Wait. All right, cool. All right, get closer together.
Closer,
Yep, there you go. Get closer together. Closer together.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Don't do that face. I'm just kidding. Look. All right, now gang signs. All right, poke each other in the faces. Come on. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
You were amazing.
It's great.
All right, yeah, we had an amazing panel and learned a lot from all the speakers tonight. Just a quick intro here so these are our upcoming events from Boston New Tech and the Startup Grind and the Startup Oasis. Make sure to follow along. We do everything from pitch practice sessions to more showcases. We have a fireside chat conversation with Shweta and Keeps the Client from VentureFizz coming up as well. And we also have a BNT premium program we launched where for $15 a month you can become a premium member. It's through Market AI and you get a free ticket to every showcase. We're starting exclusive newsletter and text message content and a dedicated WhatsApp channel as well. And Prepare for VC is our other brand. I founded the organization to help create breakthrough moments for startup organizations. We have a breakthrough program as our 10-week cohort program. We have some of the founders out here tonight, and our goal is really enabling startups to figure out what those roadblocks are, overcome them, and get to their critical milestones in their startup journey. And so we have a cohort coming up. We run several programs throughout the year, and we do individual coaching and advising for startups as well. We already did our group photo, and now we're going to dive right into the presentations. And first up tonight, we have Agentify and by Sakai Solutions. Excited to bring them up, and excited for all of our presentations tonight. So they're going to have 5 minutes to...
So 5 minutes, and we'll show the timer 2 minutes left, and then 30 seconds to wrap it up.
So my suggestion is don't stand here because the screen will cut you off. So stand on the side.
Okay, like
together or separate or on the floor, either one. But
Okay, perfect.
you'll see the shadow.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hi everyone, our product is Agentify and we are Sakai Solutions. I'm Adriana, I'm the CEO at Sakai Solutions. We're gonna do this in a reverse order.
I'm Ariane, I'm the CTO.
Hi, my name is Rukawa, I'm the COO.
Okay.
So, the problem that we're trying to tackle is that everyday tech still makes everyday tasks feel tedious, and this really is a great segue from the Women in AI panel, where, as students, sometimes we're studying, we're really locked in and focused, a great song plays, but we just miss adding it to the playlist. Now the code queue is messed up, or, you save a song on Spotify, it saves to the wrong playlist, you have to do a bunch of menu options, emails, polls, texts, even like trying to get groceries, you forget, and a lot of these tasks are super repetitive and they can really be automated, but current AI tools like Grammarly, Apple Shortcuts, ChatGPT, even though they are kind of used every day and incorporate AI, they are more general purpose, they aren't really action-based, or with like Apple Shortcuts, I'll see a lot of videos of people using Apple Shortcuts, making these huge automated apps, but then you try to do it, it doesn't really work out the same, or IFTTT, or apps that are built for workflows and not necessarily for people. And so people want more than just a chat. They want an agent that can do things for them, that can work across multiple different apps, that can learn your preferences, your idiosyncrasies, that's easy to prompt. You don't have to do a lot of different equations, functions, it's just voice text, secure, personal, people aren't selling your data, and it's ready at a moment's notice.
And yeah, so the solution for that would be Agentify, which is it would be a simple, intuitive mobile app. You would just type or voice your commands as you would with Siri. The first aspect of it would be mini agents. So each app that you want to kind of have a automated workflow for would have a mini agent, and that mini agent would have other sub agents that control the task. For, let's say, groceries, that could be, hey, Agentify, make sure to place my grocery order for Friday. That would be one sub agent under the grocery category. Next would be reassurance, automation from easy prompts such as, like I just mentioned, when my phone is inactive for more than 3 hours after 9 p.m., text my girlfriend good night. You don't want to wake up, okay, so you hate me text, you don't want that. And it's no code, it's no shortcut like Apple where you have to go through a rigorous terminal process, downloading a GitHub repo. We all have tried to do that with all these new agentic AIs coming out. This would just be a simple floating button, no scripting required. It could be toggled on your home screen through shortcuts. And then so the tech stack would be, for that, natural language understanding, which is under NLP. We would focus on parsing user prompts such as add like songs to show beat. We would extract trigger, action, and context. So in the case of that example, the trigger would be like song, the action would be add to a playlist, and it was lightweight and super privacy conscious. Talking more about our automation layer, it's UI based, so iOS, Android, it's a mobile app for the first iteration, so it would be accessible through there. And then
and the audience, everyone. So obviously you're busy on-the-go users, which I feel like is almost every day, everyone in this society. Also parent and caregivers, so both also for your children. So again, like we kind of talked about the issues with children and like the internet now. So it like also just taking away those pop-ups that might be inappropriate for the kid. And also for, again, parents who are busy, ordering those groceries, all of that stuff. And also for seniors and less tech-savvy users, we seek to make the UI, again, straightforward, easy to use, so anyone can use it. And the timing, we kind of talked about this in the panel as well, but following the success of ChatGPT, consumer confidence in AI is skyrocketing. And we also see here with the National AI Opinion Monitor, people are trying AI, but trust hinges on clarity and control. Agentic AI is emerging as a trend, but as we see, it's only really with enterprise solutions. The public isn't rejecting AI. They're asking, can I trust it? And we seek to show how. The advantage, again, designed for anyone with a mobile phone, no matter your tech proficiency, and again, we have to respect your privacy while learning and adapting to your lifestyle. So none of your actual data from those apps will be stored, and also personalized automation compared to those slow, again, Apple shortcuts.
And the security, as she just mentioned, none of the data is stored, it's only the user intention, so which is the trigger, the key phrase, the action you have to take. Agent temporarily or minimally stores this locally whenever possible, unless you're doing something that requires API. It's transparent user control, you control all your prompts, what action you want to take, what apps you want to give access to, and the system is designed to mitigate any concerns about data issues.
And so here's kind of the revenue model that we planned out. We have like a freemium, which is like free access for the core features, which is a good entry point. Then tiering, so like a starter point with limited automation, then a pro with full automation and different integrations with multiple different apps, and then a lead mode that's more advanced and proactive. And then a marketplace with integration for like smart homes, Google Home, Alexa, etc. And future expansion will be business to business, white label licensing, and a better dashboard for enterprises.
And our next steps, we're currently seeking pre-seed funding to accelerate product development, user acquisition, and GPU cost. And if we were to get, funding right now, we would use it for cloud utilities, UI development, developer fees, and especially for those at the App Store and Play Store. And this is kind of our overall kind of look, very straightforward, very easy. You're able to know what app and exactly what you're doing. And again, with the emojis, which I know ChatGPT loves also, but yeah, so very straightforward. And that is it. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Audience questions, if anybody has questions.
Sure. So what are you thinking about for pricing? For an individual user?
Yeah, so we're kind of thinking like that standard, like $20, $50, $10 a month kind of thing that most other like Cursor and ChatGPT pricing is using. So we're again comparing with the competitive market, kind of matching those prices. Obviously enterprise would be a bit more, but yeah, just matching the general AI consumer pricing.
Got it.
And to kind of just slightly add on to that, it would depend on the needs. If you're automating every single app you have on your phone to do every single task for you, you're gonna need the elite version and the pro version. But if you just have a few things that's like, oh, make sure to get these groceries for me every week on Friday, you could probably get that through the free model.
So the user using your platform to build a workflow or to handle the task. If he find out that actually is, that particular design working really well, not only for himself or herself, but also for other people. Can monetize it, and how to monetize it.
So we kind of have like a community, like not necessarily monetization for that person, but we kind of seek to have like kind of like a community, almost like Reddit-like kind of thing for like those agents. So again, if they're seeing like something works consistently well, again, people can go on this like community dashboard and look at different agents that they're able to kind of select from, and again, utilize themselves.
Similar to ChatGPT now, how if you go to the Explore GPT tabs, you'll see like, oh, data analyst, you'll see a writer, you'll see someone who helps you draft emails. It'll be a similar concept like, oh, this one's good for YouTube, this one's good for bucketing items, this one's good for reminders. It would just, follow you in that sense.
Awesome, we'll take one more question. Yeah.
How do you protect yourself in an app that you may have big guys looking to that as well? And also like, how do you protect like connection with your other network that you show, like could be Dunkin' Donuts or whatever?
Yeah.
How you say like, oh, these guys are never come back to me and preclude like the use of this app?
Yeah, so the agents are like local, and they just store like the intent. They don't actually store like your specific data or like user IDs or like anything that kind of links you, and so the apps wouldn't really be linked to each other. But yeah.
Kind of to add on to that, and similar to how we talked about in the panel, the Target case study where they sent the 15-year-old girl coupons for pregnancy and the baby stuff. We're not tracking if you click into an app, we're not going to track, oh, what songs do you have in your playlist? We're just going to simply click into Spotify, check that like song, add it into the playlist, we're done, that data is gone. And if we do something that you don't like, we would ask for user feedback. So, oh, did we execute this prompt correctly, or can we do something better? And through there, we would work to it on more.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Perfect. Great job, and excited now to bring up James from Paydesk as our next presenter here. There you go.
Hi there, thank you so much. My name is James Malone. I'm the founder and CEO of Paydesk AI Inc. So I'm a former CPA, former lawyer, former CFO. I've done IPOs, startups, 4 exits, and most recently I went to MIT and studied data analytics and macroeconomics. And one of my classes there was go solve a problem you've seen in the real world. So it didn't take me long to figure out what problem I wanted to solve. And that was basically businesses can't manage accounts payable. They can't manage the simple process of opening emails, taking out an invoice from a vendor, putting it into their system, paying it, reconciling it, and so forth. And that causes downstream problems for banks because they can't access those transactions. So these companies can only use ACH wires and checks. That creates the second downstream problem, is that banks can't even manage their loan portfolio because businesses can't manage their payables. So here's the product that we're building, the thesis behind it. So if you see here, this is the entire procure to pay process, basically in some charts and diagrams here. So feature 1 is a small business SMB tool that's going to help them automate exactly that, opening the email, grabbing invoices, and routing it for approval. The second feature of the single platform is giving banks access to those invoices like they've never had before. Like I said, ACH wire and checks are the only options for these SMBs. Well, you all have PayPal, Venmo, Facebook Pay, Google Pay, etc. Companies don't have that. So this gives banks access to real-time transactions, and they can put their lines of credit, they can put new credit cards or other financing products directly onto the transaction as it happens. And lastly, the third feature of this product is when a loan gets lent out by a bank to a small, medium business, that bank does not know a breach occurs until they get the dreaded phone call of, oh darn, we're out of money. So then that affects bank profit margin. So this single platform will be released by banks when they lend out money to their portfolio. They'll say you have to use this product so we can monitor your cash flow and we can monitor up to the point of breach. So basically these are the 3 features. The business model, it's a SaaS fee for small, medium businesses. It'll be an access fee for commercial banks plus a percentage of the transaction. And then for loan monitoring, it'll be a larger enterprise license fee. There's a large market out there. This is just for the invoice management. Think of Bill.com. They're a $13 billion company. The top 5 players in the accounts payable space have about 500,000 customers. There are 6 million new companies started every year in the United States. So there's a giant gap of under-technology, underserved, underbanked, and basically ignored small businesses that have no tools. They don't have an ERP system. They may or may not have QuickBooks. They might do online banking, but there is no technology system in place for them to even just open their mail and check their invoices. The tool is built right now. This is basically the real-time tool. It is live on AWS, and this is all features that are working today. Automated invoice extraction, validation, approval routing, cash flow visibility and planning. So you don't have to write on the whiteboard, where are we going to end up at the end of the month with our cash balance? This tool is going to help you do that. Like I said, the second and third features are going to be expanded payment options, flexible client solutions, seamless integration to all ERP systems and banking apps. And then lastly, the same platform is going to go to the banks to help with their loans. We've been in operation, I finished the MIT program in 2022, and shortly thereafter that started this company. We graduated from the MIT affiliated C10 Labs incubator, started by 3 professors that teach a class called Artificial Intelligence for Impact. That was a great program. We recently got to pitch to host at the new MIT Gen AI Sloan Lab, and now we'll be helping out next semester as that as well. Currently, we're looking to raise $3 million at a seed level. We are in discussions with investors right now. And that will get us to a path to 100 customers for sure. Really the biggest hurdle is this will be a financial fintech platform, so you have to have 24/7 uptime, you have to have a customer success organization, which requires an investment. We are working with bank pilot customers right now because they are the real true customer for this tool. They will give us access to the SMBs as well. So the money will go towards building basically a sales and support organization and working with other organizations that I'm a member of. Thank you very much. If you want to reach out, here's my information. Feel free to contact me, give you a live demo of the tool, and connect with my network if you wish. Thank you.
Sounds really cool. And you have this well thought out. I was wondering, I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you create a moat around something like this.
So the moat is, there is no technology. You think about restaurants, gas stations, schools, not-for-profits. They don't have systems in place. They're working off a checkbook. So the moat is create as simple tool as possible, which accomplishes every one of their needs, which accomplishes reaching into their inbox, their AP inbox, to get their mail. Once we do that, we're then going to turn that transaction into data, to give it to access to the banks, to give it access to the organization. So really, it's democratizing was the word we used earlier, democratizing AI and giving it to the users that have no access to this. So there is no, it's a river, it's an ocean. There is no technology there for these young people.
I mean like a moat to protect you from the competition. Like if some big company sees what you're doing and says, oh,
Like I said, there's 5 million new companies started every year, and the biggest one only has 400,000. We don't need a moat. There's so many underserved companies out there that make up an entire market.
Could you go back to the business model slide quickly? Yeah, so in that case, you charge both the bank as well as the customer that going to use the platform that required by the bank as well.
So think about the banks as customer A and the SMBs as customer B. So I really have to go after customer B to then get customer A, who will then eventually be a reseller of this anyway. So I wouldn't even give this away for free to small and medium businesses, and that's the moat too. I'm not competing with anybody on price. I will give it away for free because the real value here is these 2 features.
So you are saying that basically you will go to those retail customer first and then maybe channel up to the bank.
Well, I'm doing both at the same time right now, but yes,
right.
You're thinking exactly right.
Okay, and another question related to that, you talking about allow the bank have a kind of real-time access to some of the potential risks learned by. But the thing that you take care of is the invoice that the customer need to pay. Beyond that, there's tons of other business-related data that actually allow a real assessment to whether the company is in a good standing. or
Sure,
not.
but you have to think about, transactions and cash. Those are two completely different things. Banks care about cash because that's the money they give out, and that's the money they're gonna collect when the loans default. What we're doing is turning transactions into data. Transactions are the key leading indicator to cash. So now we're gonna have more visibility at the transaction side, which gives everyone more transparency when things are going to go to cash, either up, down, good, or sideways, or bad.
But do you take care of the in?
Yes, that's right. And we link to all ERP systems and banking portals to do the out, to make the payment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You want to add something, Mark?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how do the SMBs feel about being so transparent with the banks? I mean, because right now, for example.
It wouldn't be up to them, it would be up to the bank. The bank would say, you're gonna get this loan, you have to use this tool. Because right now, the communication between a lender and a lendee, it's 4 times a year. It's at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, how'd you do on cash, what's your P&L look like? That's historical looking. If there's a bad thing that happened, they found out that way. This gives them real-time access to before that happens.
But apart from not having a choice, how do the SMEs feel about it?
The SMBs love this. Well, aside from that, using this tool, the SMBs would love to use this tool because it just streamlines their operations. I mean, they go from having no accounting system to having an accounting system. So yes, they would love this tool. If this is a condition in their loan, I don't think they have a choice. So it's up to the bank to work that out with their customers.
And let's take your question and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Can you talk more about your competitive landscape? Like, I'm guessing QuickBooks is like a similar space, and like others like some other.
So QuickBooks is it's in a similar space as far as customer demographic, but QuickBooks is an ERP system. Effectively, it's an accounting system, which is historical looking. They don't process transactions. Transactions are entered into that system after they occurred. This tool is going to help businesses process transactions real time. So it's not an accounting system per se. It will develop the transactions that will go into the accounting system, like QuickBooks, NetSuite, Oracle, SAP.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. And next up, we have Stephanie from Born to Thrive.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie. I'm a founder for Born to Thrive. I am originally from Brazil, and I want to understand who I'm speaking to, and would you please raise your hand if you're a parent here? You have kids at home? Yes, so we all know, I'm speaking to you today, and later on, whoever doesn't have a baby or a child in the home, come and talk to me. We all know that babies don't come. Everything in life comes with a manual, but your baby. So our mission at Born to Thrive is to make sure that all families are thriving. I'm gonna do a little bit different. I'm gonna show you my story and why I do this. Does it play, Jason? This is a video. Oh, okay. I'll tell you my story. So this was supposed to be a video. I was born in Brazil in a village on the countryside of São Paulo, and my grandmother was a midwife and a healer of this village, and she gave birth to 16 children, and she adopted 2 more. So I grew up seeing how joyful my family was and how much of a close community my family was, and how happy we were growing up. I work here in the US today as a coach, and I help parents, and I work with newborns as a newborn expert. And we are trying to solve these problems. Parents, it's hard to know. Sometimes your house is war zone. You don't know what your babies need. You don't know what your partner needs. We're trying to solve that for you. Chronic lack of sleep, unpredictable nature of the baby, and the sense of security. Our goal is to bring live on-demand data for you, so you would know what's coming next. What is the next milestone for your baby? why any parent, we are starting here in Boston, but any parent from any kind. Why us? We love family. We're here for the families. I think family is the foundation of society. And in the heart of the family, a human person is born. And that human person, within the 4 years of their lives, if we do a good job, we can set an amazing foundation for them. And we can do that with data. This is our market size. In the US, we have 3.7 million live births. So our product would be our piece of technology and an application. So that is our TAM. And we're going to be looking to expand into New England. So our beachhead would be Boston, Greater Boston, New York, and that's our roadmap. I founded the company in 2023, and I was part of the JP Morgan Incubator, Women's President Organization, which is a women-led group. And in 2020, the team grew. We have employees now and interns. I became part of the CIC group. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Too many faces looking at me. And what we're looking to do now is to, we are validating actually our products out there. We have users. I have some of my clients using it. And we're on the process of validating it and getting feedback from them. In June, we are looking to do a partnership with Boston Children's Hospital. We do have competitors. Nanit, if you don't know, it's a camera that tracks the baby's sleep and baby's behavior. The happiest babe is a crib that moves a little bit and also tracks how the baby is sleeping. And our direct competitor is for a wearable, is the Whoop, the Fitbit, and Garmin. And this is our team. It's me. You saw my story at the very beginning. And Debo is the guy behind the engineering for the technology. And we are raising, we are pre-seed raising $500,000 so we can get the technology, the wearable out there for people. And this is it.
Questions?
After you guys receive that initial round of funding, how long do you think it would take you guys to actually have, the product go to market?
So 0 to 6 months. For us to, I need to hire an electrical engineer and get the prototype, and I have 6 families waiting. We're communicating, so 0 to 6 months would be a good time for us to use that money. That's a good question. Thank you.
I don't have a question, but a suggestion. You treat us as a baby, then you probably wouldn't be nervous. Listen to your own
Yeah, no, I'll ask a question. Like, I guess on that timeline, I somewhat raised my hand. In October, will I be able to? I'll be a father in October. Will I be able to use your
Yes, hopefully, yeah. We're raising funds right now, and the application is right here, so I'll be happy to welcome you. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody, the parents, the people that raised their hands over here, more questions?
Mine's 30, I don't think he'd like it.
No, we're all excited.
It's a 0 to 7.
Actually, I do have a question. This week, last week, one of my duties is actually helping my sons take care her daughter. So I need to spend some time. And one question I always wonder about the kid sometimes cry, right? The baby cry. She's about 7 months old, and sometimes just wondering what does it does she communicate? If there's some way that allow us kind of discern from the cry, the emotion, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know, I thought I put it on the slide, sorry. But we measured 11 different variables, and we will understand the pattern of behavior of your child, and we will compare with 1,300 different points of data that I manually have on my computer. So the predictive analysis will come from that and will tell why the possibilities of why your baby's crying.
Thank you. All right, great job. Amazing. And next up, we have Immediate Now.
Is it PDF or the actual?
It's the slides.
So like a video play, we think, we hope, maybe?
I hope so.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, if you want. I'm Greg McHale. I'm the founder and CEO of Immediate Now. That's Susan Shields-Darian, who's my co-founder and COO. 2002, I founded a company called C Market, online auction platform for nonprofits. 23 years later, it's Bidding for Good. It's the same platform, and it's one of the largest online auction platforms for nonprofits. I love creating technology and disappearing it for organizations so anybody can use it. So with Immediate Now, content chaos. It's hard to reach people in their inbox, in their social media feed. Susan and I founded a company that built branded native apps for organizations who wanted to go around the inbox and the social media feed and reach their audience directly on their smartphone with a native app. That was our proof of concept for what we're doing here. So, very simply, we're building WordPress for PWAs. If you know WordPress, you control 60-70% of the market for websites. WordPress for PWAs, an AI-powered multimodal CMS, all sorts of different stuff, pictures, video, links, text, connected to a partner-branded PWA, progressive web app. It acts like a smartphone app on your smartphone, but there's no download, and it works on all of your other devices. This is about omni-channel delivery because everything in the platform can be distilled into a digital link or QR code and integrated with any form of communication. This is about the right content, right person, right time, right place. Thank you. 3 components. This, incidentally, I don't know if I said this. This launches in August. So there's the end user experience. We're showing New Orleans and Company, the CVB for New Orleans. They love this thing. First place we use AI. When you step off the plane in New Orleans and scan the QR, we read your browser settings. We use AI to translate into one of over 100 languages. So the visitor to New Orleans scans the QR, and there it is, all of the events in Korean. In the center is the CMS. You manage your followers, you manage your content, you create content. We use their AI there to enhance content. And over here is the mobile admin app, which means an organization can go to an event, manage followers, manage content, create content, including recording and sharing short form video. So, thanks. AI enhancing content, very good. 100+ languages, great. One of our target markets, we've had a lot of experience with public housing authorities. Easily 20 to 30% of their residents will be non-native English speakers. This is a huge feature for them. The publish from anywhere, you deliver content that's fresh and people engage with it. And record and share short form videos, we retain 95% of what we see, only 10% of what we read. It's like a private TikTok network from an organization. Smartphone apps only work here. PWAs work everywhere. So at launch, this is about AI enhanced content. It improves the content quality, creates and schedules the push notifications, does the AI translation. Shortly after launch, we'll roll out MFO, multifunction output, meaning you create an item and then the CMS will turn around and go, here's content that's perfect for an email, here's content that's perfect for Facebook, here's content that's perfect for X. Here's the important thing. Each one of those will have their own unique URL. What that means is we'll be able to track in exquisite detail where you're getting your responses from. So step 1, create rich, dynamic content. You can see what it's like over here, all sorts of different content forms up to and including documents. And then, so perfect example of applying AI in a way that works well for someone. You want to publish the content you've got, publish it. Or we'll turn around and say, this would be better, and you can choose to accept that. Next. This is huge drudgery for an organization. There's a piece of content, it's multiple weeks out or months out. We'll turn around and we'll create the push notifications and optimize the schedule for them. Don't have to do it, but it's there for you instantly. So this is about delivering this content everywhere. So there's a digital link or a QR code for everything, and it can be integrated in all of your digital forms of content, and incidentally, all of your print forms of content. The doctor walks in, scans at Montefiore Einstein Hospital, and the doctor is looking at exactly the piece of content they want you to see right then, right there. There's this incredibly powerful opportunity to deliver content based upon place. So when you publish a piece of content, you can social share it or tap the QR code and share it with someone you're physically adjacent to. You can put in links, dates, times, addresses. Even, that's not advertising from us, that's their ability to include partners or sponsors so they can actually offset the cost of the platform. So is this gonna work? No. No. Sorry.
Sorry, I guess the video is not working.
All right. Let me explain what you're gonna see. This is the way that this will be by the end of this year or early next. The Public Housing Authority says the water shut off in Building 3 this Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. And if this were to work, I tap that, and that's the AI-generated avatar speaking to you in English. And if I tap that, it's the AI-generated avatar speaking to you in Tagalog. It's weird. The more technology we put in, the more human the platform becomes. And so this is a huge feature across literally all of the markets that we're planning on serving. So clearly we're an AI-enabled platform today using the usual suspects to power it. But once we hit 1,000 or so customers early to mid next year, we'll start training our own model. And we'll be able to track all of the intersections across all of the different channels, all of how content drives different interactions across different channels. So we'll continue to use the big LLMs to publish like language translation and whatnot, but we'll have our own model to handle interactions and provide recommendations. Believe passionately in delivering technology that quite literally any organization can afford. And so the way this works is there's a setup fee, an annual subscription that's defined by the number of monthly active users and the video bandwidth. Now, the cool thing for us is at sign up, you have to pay the setup fee and 2 years of subscription. So for us, we as a business model, we go cash flow positive 3 months after the product launch. But we can do everything from a tiny nonprofit or a union all the way up to global design for conference centers and airports and transportation centers. Incidentally, at this level, we pre-translate every item into 30 languages, which covers 98 to 99% of global travelers. So, we got a lot of markets. We'll focus. We're not going to boil the ocean. We're going to focus on a very specific set of markets at launch, again, August forward, but this is about enhancing communications for just about everybody. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh my God, that wasn't even close.
Yeah, any questions?
Can you do customization of the messages you send or you push?
Yep.
To the specific user?
Yes.
Based on what?
Um,
Their needs, their, I don't know.
So when we launch, they're all going to be the same.
Yeah.
as we learn about how you respond to something versus how she responds to something, we can vary the push content, the
It will
schedule.
be within your own application. You're now grabbing information from third party.
Not yet.
Okay.
And so there's two ways. So we're gonna sell the product branded, but we have a lot of interest in people who wanna use it basically as an application layer. So, yep.
In terms of setup, what does it involve? When you say there's a setup for organization, I'm thinking about like the content you produce, like you push up to different channels. So when you set up, you probably need to configure, like saying that, okay, that's my linking channel, that's my
So there's literally no setup for the organization.
No setup for the organization?
None.
Okay.
And so, we charge varying amounts for setup.
Yeah.
And as long as we promise to keep it within this room.
Yeah.
Setup takes us less than 5 minutes. It doesn't matter which of the models we're doing.
Okay.
We vary the amount, but it takes less than 5 minutes. This is AWS. There is zero IT impact for any organization who wants to use it. None.
But I need to specify where the content will distribute to, like.
So when you create an item,
Right.
at its first iteration when it comes out in August, when you create an item, push notifications and the enhanced content. And so it's designed to go out through the PWA. When we roll out MFO, multifunction output, we'll turn around and go, do you want to put it in an email? This block of text is optimized for email and has a unique URL because that allows us to track all of the interactions across all of the different channels. So all you do is, we're not gonna, out of the box, we're not gonna do integrations with Constant Contact, for instance. So this literally will be, if you see value in the platform and you wanna put it in an email, you're gonna copy and paste and stick it in an email and send it out via Constant Contact. There's a lot of places where we could go to in terms of integrations.
That also helps maintain consistency across your social, your emails, all the different ways that people are putting everything out.
One of the point that you emphasize quite a bit is the unique URL that you send out. In that case, does the URL actually contain whatever domain that I have, or is your domain's address in that URL?
So it's our domain.
How can I customize so that actually is customer recognize is my domain?
So we're gonna have we're gonna enable you to have vanity domains. So we're not gonna do that at launch, but ultimately we'll enable you to have vanity domain. Yeah, that's a good question. We'll also be doing we're gonna be doing a WordPress plugin, so you can do the WordPress plugin, publish over here, and just put a stream over there.
Perfect, great job.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Twinchuo. Let's see. We had is there a clicker? Did I give the clicker to any presenter before?
The clicker?
No.
Yeah, for the.
Who was the presenter before?
I didn't have a clip.
Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Floor is yours.